This is Mahek Bukhari. Her number of fans started to grow when she started making TikTok videos with her mom, Anen. The mother and daughter became closer in many ways, but their relationship was really creepy. Mahek did the worst thing possible for her mom in 2022. Akhtar Hussain and Mohammed Hashim Azadan went into a Tesco parking lot in Leicester, UK just after midnight on February the 11th, 2022. That night, Saqib was supposed to get £3,000 from Ansareen Bukhari, a 46-year-old woman he used to date. He never got his money though. Besides that, him and his friend both died that night. When the two friends got to the parking lot, two other cars began to chase them very quickly. 10 minutes after that, one of the cars hit theirs. Their car was in such bad shape that it took off, hit a tree, and then broke in half. Both men died. Two names came up as the detective tried to figure out what happened that night: Ansareen Bukhari and her popular daughter on TikTok, Mahek. However, why would these two women want to hurt their friends, and who was to blame for their deaths? Mahek Bukhari was born to Ansareen and Ali in 1999. In Stoke-on-Trent, a small town in the middle of England, she grew up with her parents and brother. Not like most small-town girls though, Mahek didn't act like one. She would love to be the center of attention since she was a little girl. She was popular and, according to some, very in style at school. But she didn't get very good grades. She dropped out of school and made a TikTok account even though she had just started college the previous year. Mahek did decide that she would post herself wearing tight clothes and glittery makeup for a job. If the amount of followers you have is the only thing that makes you feel good about yourself, then yes, Mahek's behavior would get much worse than this. May B Vlogs was Mahek's first online name. The most people who followed her were 35,000 on TikTok, 38,000 on Instagram, and 4,000 on YouTube. Mahek's TikTok really took off when she started posting videos of herself with her mom. Everyone on TikTok loved the daily dance videos she made with her mom, and Serene seemed to be okay with her daughter's job on social media. All the way, she was most excited to spend more time with her daughter. Ansareen was born in Pakistan, but she and her family went to the UK when she was a little girl. She really wanted to be a flight attendant, but her family was very traditional, which was very hard for her as a woman. Aneen's folks made her marry Ali Mahek's dad against her will. They told her to stay home with the kids. Think about how annoying it must be to not be in charge of your own life. Aneen had a string of low-paying jobs as Mahek grew up. Aneen quit her job and became her daughter's full-time boss when her TikTok account got bigger. Mahek and Ansareen were able to fly to London, Manchester, and Birmingham together thanks to deals with clothing companies. Ali Mahek's dad was also happy about this. He believed that his daughter would be safe with her mother. But there's something else. Ansareen was very angry with Ali. Also, around the same time that Mahek's TikTok account grew, Ansareen began seeing Saqib Hussain, a guy 25 years younger than her. Saqib and Ansareen started talking on Azar, a chat app. Saqib and Ansareen both lived in the middle of England. They met as friends and quickly became romantically interested in each other, at least for Saqib. It's not clear if she fell in love with him. That changed when they started dating in early 2020. They were together for about a year and a half, and as with most heated situations, it wasn't long before things went wrong. Saqib spent about £3,000 on gifts for Ansareen over the course of a year and called her several times a day. He got her expensive clothes, shoes, an Apple Watch, and meals at fancy restaurants in London. Ansareen said she didn't ask for these gifts. Saqib did it to win her love. When someone makes so many big moves so soon after starting dating someone, it could mean they are very nervous. He might have believed that she would leave him if he stopped giving her gifts. Aneen took his gifts, but she wasn't fully dedicated. She was already married and she wasn't sure about Saqib's overly loving style. She wouldn't always react to his moves or talk about him all the time. His friends heard him say that he loved her so much that he didn't care that she was married. And Serene, on the other hand, told everyone that she felt terrible about spending the night with Saqib. They met at a London hotel on December the 10th, 2021. This time, Anin broke up with Saqib once more. Guys, it takes two to tango, but one person is all it takes to break up. Saqib, who is 21 years old, would not take no for an answer. He just wouldn't agree with Anin that they should end things. From here on out, things got worse, and Mahik made it even worse. Saqib kept begging Serene to give him another chance in the days after they broke up. He would go back and forth between being submissive and aggressive, calling Anin a liar for taking all of his expensive gifts only to break up with him. When things were going well, Saqib called Serene 5 times a day. Now just think how persistent he was. A report said that different texts they sent each other showed that he became more and more obsessed, telling her he loved her and begging her to stay with him. Other texts show that he is mad and upset that she won't call him back. As you might guess, Serene chose to block Saqib, but what do you know? It only made Saqib more determined. He chose to use threats to get Anin to take him back. Also, this is the man who said he loved Anin, who was scared and desperate. Mahik, Serene's daughter, heard the truth, took it the hard way, and went after Saqib with the same attitude he had. Mahik and Serene could have called 911 and told them about Saqib's horrible threats, but instead, Mahik made a plan that would end 2 lives. He told Serene in February that he would leave her alone and take a long holiday in Pakistan if she gave him the £3,000 she owed him. He thought Serene owed him money for all the expensive gifts he had given her, even though she didn't. Anin felt stuck. If she didn't pay him, he might have told everyone about her or kept bothering her forever. He could still give her the pictures he had of her even if she paid him. They agreed on a time and place to meet up one last time though. A man named Rakan Karwan called Saqib on February the 8th, 2022. He knew Mahik and Serene and said he would meet Saqib to take care of the money transfer. When Saqib's sister heard what they were saying, she told him about a possible setup. Saqib then asked Rakan Karwan to send money virtually, but Rakan Karwan never replied. After 2 days, Saqib sent Mahik more mean texts. He said he would drive to their house, cause trouble, and ruin her parents' marriage. Following a half hour, Mahik responded that he would meet her that night in a long burrow just outside of a Leicester parking lot. They talked about it for a while and finally decided on another parking lot at the Leicester Tesco. The only trouble was that Saqib did not have a license to drive. That's why he called Mohammed Hashim Azadanto to drive him to and from Leicester. Mohammed had nothing to do with what was going on. He had no idea who Saqib was meeting that night. He was just a friend who helped out. The 2 friends got to the Tesco parking lot at 17 o'clock. He and his friend were in the car that was below the green sign. Mahik and Serene were in the red arrow car, along with Rakan and Mohammed Patel. They were cousins of theirs in the 3rd car under the blue line. They were with the owner of the car, Natasha Akar, and Snafgula Mustafa. A group planned to kill Saqib, Mahik, and Serene, and 6 family members and friends. Saqib and Mohammed got a bad feeling while they were waiting for Mahik to show up, so they left the parking lot. They were being chased by 2 cars driven by Rakan and Reyes as soon as they left. The next few minutes were caught on CCTV in a crossroads. Mohammed and Saqib slowed down to see if someone was following them. The car behind them also slowed down. Saqib got a call while he was in the car. Mahik was telling him to park in the lot of a grocery store. The chase went on because he said no. Sharib's last words from Mahik were, "Watch what I do to you." Rakan, who was driving her car, hit Mohammed's car several times. Saqib called the police and asked them to help them. Mohammed's car was hit at 100 miles per hour as he finished his sentence. The car hit a wall, took off, and then caught fire after splitting in half. Its engines flew over the A46 highway. It was that night that Saqib and Mohammed died. The only way to identify them was through their dental records. It was very late at night, so no one saw what was going on. The first people who drove by the ruins thought it was just a bad accident involving one car. When detectives looked at the highway CCTV video, they saw that this wasn't an accident. Natasha was caught at 4:45 a.m. while driving her blue Seat. At 7:14 a.m., police arrived at the Mahek and Ansareen's home. Mahek and Ansareen were arrested on murder charges. Over the next few days, police would figure out who all 8 of the people were. By March of that year, all 8 of them were in jail. Some admitted they were involved and told scary details about Mahik's plan, but Mahik was determined to act like she didn't know anything. She thought that her TikTok skills at pretending to be a fan were finally coming in handy. The police were told the whole story by Mohammed Patel, from how it all started to the car chase and Mahik's choice to kill both men that night. Mahik and Ansareen were charged with a crime based on 200 hours of surveillance footage, 40 places, and 30 statements. Mahik and Ansareen's hearing started in April 2023 and was all over the news across the country. What a sneaky way for Ali to learn that his wife was cheating on him. That Saqib was being disgustingly dominating was their only defense, but it was their choice to kill him and his friend. They had many chances to call the police, but they decided to do something terrible instead. Mahik was also seen laughing and waving at reporters from the building. She didn't feel bad about what she did, and as usual, she liked the attention. A few hours later, Mahik, Ansareen, Rakan, and Reyes were all found guilty of murder. Sanaf, Amir, and Natasha were found guilty too. The only person who was honest during the probe was Mohammed Patel. He was found not guilty of any charges. Mahik got a 31-year sentence in jail. After 31 years, she will be able to get freedom. She doesn't have either yet. Reyes got the same sentence as Ansareen and Rakan. They got 26 years to life. These 8 people were part of this disgusting plan, and no one even dared to question it. One of them didn't even think to call the police or at least get doctors to the scene of the accident. Mahik never got rid of her accounts. She used to enjoy the attention, but now she can't. In jail, she will be forgotten, and her fancy social media will always show how ugly she is. We hope this brings some comfort to the families of Saqib and Hashim who have lost loved ones. Thank you for watching.